Hello and welcome to TVB News. I'm Melissa Hekalea. Many freshly elected legislators said they would follow up on the aftermath of the Tai Po fire. The Legislative Council's new term begins on January 1st. Musin reports.
Incumbent and newly elected members of the Legislative Council gathered together for the first time after the polling day. The new faces include Zhang Pui-gong from the Kowloon East constituency and Vivian Kong representing the tourism sector. In his speech, LegCo President Andrew Leung reminded the newly elected members to collaborate with the government to handle the aftermath of the Tai Po fire. 7 existing lawmakers and 4 newcomers also delivered speeches, and many said they would follow up on the tragedy. Among them was Aaron Bok, the elected member of the engineering sector. He said that safety is the foundation of a city's development, which is also the bottom line of engineering and related professions. Elected finance lawmaker Chang Zhanying said that he believes the government will implement a series of reforms to tackle the issues arise from the fire. Chan said those reforms must be scrutinized by LegCo. 40 of the 90 legislators of the 8th term are new to LegCo. Zhang Hofeng from the Roundtable secured his seat in the New Territories Northeast Geographical Constituency with 34,000 votes. Zhang said the party's outspoken spirit remains the same inside out. Musin, TVB News.
The Travel Industry Council said that approximately 20 tour groups from Hong Kong are currently traveling in the northeastern region of Japan. All participants are safe and their itineraries have not been affected. The Immigration Department stated that it hasn't received any requests for assistance from Hong Kong residents. Some Hong Kong tourists in Japan described the earthquake as sudden and strong. Tracy Furness spoke to Michael Wong, one of the Hong Kong tourists who was resting in his hotel room in Aomori Prefecture when the earthquake struck.
The first thing Michael knew that an earthquake was imminent was when a loud alarm went off on his phone, both in English and Japanese, late Monday night. He was staying on the 9th floor of a hotel in Aomori.
When the earthquake struck last night at 11:15 here, for the first couple of minutes, you stay on the floor, stay on the ground, and then we quickly moved to the ground floor of the building, and where we met other tourists, other travelers staying in the hotel. But there were no other local residents or local staff outside. They were all still staying indoors.
He went on to describe the several strong aftershocks in the early hours of Tuesday morning.
I woke up to 3 o'clock aftershock, and then there was a 7 o'clock aftershock in the morning. They were not as strong as the first one, of course. The aftershocks, after all, but they're quite strong. I'm on the 9th floor of a hotel building, so this is quite, you can really feel it when the building started shaking. You really can't tell if it's swaying or shaking. It's just a lot of vibration going on at the time, and then you just have to lie down or just crawl onto the floor just to stay safe. We went out this morning just to look around, and we really couldn't tell, if you arrived this morning, if you just arrived this morning, you really can't tell if there had been an earthquake at all.
Tracy Furness, TVB News.
The death toll from the massive fire at Wang Fuk Court has increased by 1, reaching 160. This after DNA tests identified an additional deceased. Meanwhile, the number of missing persons dropped from 31 to 6. Samantha Lee reports.
It has been 2 weeks since flames ripped through Wang Fuk Court, but recovery work is still ongoing. Dressed in white full-body protective gear, the Disaster Victim Identification Unit officers continued the search of the charred buildings. Families of those still unaccounted for provide DNA samples to the police through oval swabs, trying to identify their loved ones. The police expects it may take weeks to get final results. The latest figures by the police stated that at least 160 people were killed in the fire.
法醫佢嘅專業能力。
Joe Chow, Commissioner of Police, revealed that forensic doctors found different DNA samples on what was thought to be one body. It turned out there were DNA that belonged to a senior woman and her domestic worker. He added that another piece of suspected human bone was discovered on the site, pending DNA test for confirmation. For the 31 missing persons announced last week, the police have confirmed the situation of 24 people, bringing the number down to 6. Meanwhile, the Secretary for Labor and Welfare, Chris Soon, said on Sunday that 13 households remain non-contactable under the one social worker per household initiative.
We were unable to confirm whether they are still alive or all were gone. But in fact, we were also working on this, and so that's why you will see every time when we have this kind of new bodies or identities that we can recover, we will also contact the relevant government bureaus or departments to confirm their identity.
Samantha Lee, TVB News.
Police clinical psychologists say they've talked to 300 members of the Disaster Victim Identification Unit who worked on the front line of the Tai Po fire aftermath. The psychologist said many show great resilience and commitment to help residents in the event. Memo Singhai reports.
In the aftermath of the calamity, about 600 officers of the Disaster Victim Identification Unit, or DVIU, were deployed to search for bodies in and out of the burned-out buildings. To support the emotions of DVIU members in the operation, the police clinical psychologists have been in touch with them. So far, the psychologists have talked to 300 members. When asked about the psychological conditions of the members, the police clinical psychologists said the team had demonstrated much resilience.
So far, we haven't come across any DVIU members who told us that they are severely impacted emotionally by these incidents. Some officers reported that they will have some images of the scenes that they have handled during the day. It might come up after work, or sometimes when they go to places where there are cues that will remind them of the scenes, that they will cause them some distress. But again, based on research and our experience, these reaction or these images will subside around a couple of weeks.
The psychologists said they had offered solutions that can calm the officers when they return home.
Psychoeducational materials for our officers who can read at home, which include instructions about relaxation and the normal reactions after witnessing such traumatic events, including body scans, which is one of the techniques that we teach them. They have a QR code, they can scan it, and we have a sound clip to guide them for the relaxation exercise.
Despite having to work long hours and under challenging environments, Fong said the officers found the job meaningful. He added that they will reach out to the remaining 300 DVIU officers and other colleagues who have worked at a fire scene. Momos 9, TVB News.
In other local news, a paraglider died after crashing into a hillside in Sheko. The 68-year-old was reportedly gliding off Dragon's Back. He was rescued and sent by helicopter to Eastern Hospital in a coma. He was later pronounced dead. Police received a report about a man who was found unconscious on Sheko Peak at around 2:30 p.m. It's believed he lost control of his paraglider and crashed. Welcome back. December 13th marks the 12th National Memorial Day dedicated to the victims of the Nanjing massacre. Foreign Minister Wang Yi once again unleashed scathing criticism against the erroneous remarks on Taiwan by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi. Danny Zhou has the story.
Wang Yi brought about the issue when meeting with Germany's top diplomat Johann Wadefull on Monday. He made it clear that historically Taiwan has been a part of China from ancient times. It was stipulated in international instruments like the Cairo Declaration and the Potsdam Protocol that Japan must return its seized territories from China, including Taiwan. He said the People's Republic of China has enjoyed sovereignty over the island since its founding in 1949. And Taiwan's status as a province of China was officially affirmed by the United Nations in 1971 after the restoration of the PRC's seat. Tokyo has since confirmed the One China principle in the Sino-Japanese Joint Statement and Treaty of Peace and Friendship, setting forth that Taiwan is an inseparable part of China. Such status has been secured under 7 layers of confirmation in a series of political and legal facts, one said. As this year is the 80th anniversary of the Chinese people's victory against Japanese aggression, one stated Japan should have undertaken profound reflection upon its wartime crimes and acted with greater caution. Yet the current leader of Japan, the nation that colonized Taiwan for half a century, tried to exploit the Taiwan question to stir up trouble and threat China militarily. One said the move is completely intolerable. This is the 4th time that the foreign minister criticized the Japanese prime minister by name. So far, Takaichi has not retracted the controversial remarks and insisted Tokyo's position on Taiwan is unchanged. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy is in Rome rallying European support with U.S. pressure on Ukraine's president to compromise and make peace with Russia. Zelenskyy has also been seeking solutions in Brussels and London. A meeting with Italy's prime minister will follow after an audience with the Pope. David Garrett reports.
Good morning.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy's whirlwind Euro tour. The latest stop for Ukraine's president is just outside Rome. Zelenskyy entered the private residence of Pope Leo with the Swiss Guard flanking the entrance. That came after a night in Brussels where he'd been in a meeting with NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte. Zelenskyy also catching up with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa. The four linked hands as they tried to come to some sort of unity on how to end Ukraine's war with Russia. That followed lengthy talks in London with the leaders of Britain, France and Germany. Those leaders, alongside Zelenskyy, striking a balance between backing US efforts to get a peace deal done and European security interests as Ukraine pushes for funding and air defence.
I think unity between Europe and Ukraine, and also unity between Europe, Ukraine and the United States, are some things which we can't manage without Americans, things which we can't manage without Europe, and that's why we need to make some important decisions.
Ukraine is suffering. 11 injured in a Russian drone raid carried out in broad daylight. 16 UAVs appear to get through, hitting targets and damaging buildings. Russia claims to have captured new areas of Ukraine's east and has an estimated 700,000 troops on the front line. Talks at the UN as Finland, which shares a border with Russia, wants more support for Ukraine, saying the way the war ends will shape global security.
It will also highlight the extent to which the aggressor, a permanent member of this council, will respect the UN Charter and the 10th Helsinki Principle, which requires that obligations under international law must be fulfilled in good faith.
Russia hit back at Finland, Ukraine and Europe. Moscow's deputy permanent representative saying he would not waste time with anti-Russian insinuations. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Europe and NATO are the aggressors and plans to stand his ground. Representatives from Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan visiting the Kremlin as Putin shows he has his supporters too. David Garrett, TVB News.
Back locally, a local NGO has offered around 40 pieces of art by artists with special needs for sale for the very first time. The aim is to establish and expand a sustainable market to provide these artists with long-term support. Sakura Ip has more.
Sharp, neatly styled hair and smart, curious eyes behind black spectacles. This ceramic sculpture is named Paul. It's a self-portrait of its creator, Paul, capturing its iconic smile perfectly. These robots are made from discarded bus parts donated by Kowloon Motor Bus Company. Here's David, who has 3 eyes and springs for arms. His creator, Ku Chun-yin, explains the arms are perfect for saving anyone who falls into water. Ku has also designed a girlfriend for David, who has very supportive arms and is a great help. The exhibition showcases over 40 works, including sculptures, paintings, ceramics and digital art, many capturing distinctive local elements. All are by artists with special needs from the Hongqi Association. These art pieces next to me are inspired by the local iconic nylon carriage bag with color blue, red and white. These are already sold on the first day of the exhibition. With support from Christie's, this marks the first time Hongqi's artist work is being displayed in an auction house gallery.
That means so much. Also, it means so much, I hope, to all the artists as well, to have this platform, to be able to show their extraordinary talent. And the works will be for sale, so that's good. We're not doing an auction this time, but maybe in the future, who knows?
Putting a price tag on these artworks takes courage. Edward Yao, chairman of Hongqi Association, says the sales is testing the water of a potential market.
We put our series of artwork on display at the arrival hall of the airport. And then we pick up a call from an Australian artist saying that I'm interested in that piece. It is demonstrated it is in fact the artistic appeal of that piece of art. In addition to providing direct services, we're also here to create opportunity building platform that through different things, including creative arts, for our children to explore new ground and go beyond the boundary of the school, the art room, to the wider community.
The exhibition is open to public, free of charge, and runs until the 12th. Sakurib, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.